You look like you're feeling better.
Yeah, I feel much better.
Good.
Feel much better.
All right, then.
We're all unpacked finally.
Do I sound okay?
Yeah, you sound fine, man.
Good. Tilt your camera down a little bit. Either that or get a taller chair.
I'm no better.
Well, look at that. You're looking like you fill up the middle of the screen now.
How about that, huh?
You were looking very dwarfish for a little bit.
Well, I looked rather angelic a little earlier because the door was open and the sun is coming in the front of the house.
Oh, little.
So I had this
halo
effect around my
How
head.
about that? How
I was
about
afraid people would want to bow down and worship, so we wouldn't want that.
So I've had some trouble with so how about this? I am fuming. I've spent months doing lots of videos and editing and doing a lot of things, and I keep them in this thing. I do it in Adobe Photoshop Premiere.
Okay.
And I'll be damned. About 9 days ago, something happened, and I lost a lot of video, like over 50 videos that have been edited. I still have the raw video that I shot. All the work, all the stuff, a bunch of stuff for Iconic, but the rest of it was for Golf Magazine. And I got to go back to work and get it all right again. I spent hours, many hours.
You sure it's just not someplace where?
Oh, I've been on their app and I've been on their website and their help desk and all this other stuff. I'm not the only guy that this has happened to at all. There's a big problem.
Okay.
And they're, of course, trying to wash their hands of it. Well, you got to reboot the app and got to sign out and sign back in and do all these gymnastics like it's our fault.
And make sure you're standing on one foot facing east when it happens.
Yeah. Oh.
All right.
Something happened 9 days ago, right? And something. And it's like I got in there yesterday to go, to download them and
send them where they need to be.
Yeah.
And they wasn't there.
Oh, and kill somebody.
Well, I'm glad I'm 100 miles away.
I could have killed many people yesterday. I could have been ranked pretty highly in the annals of all the
mass murderers.
I could have gone. I'm a lot less. I mean, I'm not as nearly as angry today, but I knew what it was yesterday, and that wave of rage hit me about what I knew I had lost.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then depression set in.
Yeah. And then denial.
Yeah. Right. I still haven't hit that. Okay, we can do this phase and come right back, and I'll just give up a few days worth of work and just go shoot those things again and edit those things again. Oh.
Are you into the acceptance phase yet? Okay.
No.
Hey, let's do it like we did the last one, man. Let's just keep track of time on both ends and just do it live if we can.
Well, that'll save you editing time.
Yes, indeed.
All right, let me get my clock out. All right,
2:45 for the first one.
Okay.
And we begin in 3, 2, 1. It is time for us, we being those weekend golf guys. I'm John Ashton. He, back from gallivanting all over the frigid state of Florida.
It was nasty. It was not fun to gallivant in Florida last week.
Can imagine, man.
Jeff
Smith, Golf Magazine Top 100 teacher and co-host of those weekend golf guys for so long now. Jeff spent not only the 4 days at the PGA Merchandise Show, but he spent extra days prior to and after hobnobbing with his top 100 compatriots and learning some stuff, but more importantly, teaching some stuff.
Yeah, it was fun.
And did you find a substitute for me, man? I know you were going to use me as a demo unit,
as a crash test dummy.
Before I realized
so.
go.
It was perfect because I found this guy and, he had a cane and it was like, this is perfect. I don't have to change my shtick.
Speaking of shtick. Oh, man. The weather in the Midwest, Mid-South, however you want to refer to it. I am in Louisville, Kentucky. He is in Columbus, Indiana, which are not that far apart, actually. Today, it's 58 degrees. Sun is shining. My brother-in-law is ticked off at me because I'm doing this today, recording this, rather than playing golf.
Yeah, well, guess what?
Thursday, we're going to get...
ain't going to be much better. It's going to be lousy.
We're going to get like 3 feet of snow.
Yeah.
So...
we're going to be getting some major ice tomorrow through tomorrow night. And Thursday, we're going to get a lot of...
stuff.
A lot of stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff.
Yeah. So therefore, golf is again on the back burner, the way back burner. Maybe we should invent a game you can play in snowshoes. I'm not sure.
I think that's a good idea. A game?
Right.
Can we play golf in snowshoes? That would be an interesting thing.
Yeah, it would. Yeah.
Let's try it. Let's wait till Thursday and test it out.
We'll test it out. We'll have to video it and see how it goes. We are going to basically do a rundown of what Jeff did at the PGA show because he saw a lot of stuff that you need to know about because it's going to help you become a better golfer this year. So hang out. We'll be right back. We are those weekend golf guys. Number 2, 9 minutes and 45 seconds. And we start in 3, 2, 1. It is us, those weekend golf guys. We are back into it. I mean, we're into the second month of 2022 now. So no more of this Happy New Year. You should be used to writing 22 on any checks you write if you still write checks. I wrote my first and only one of the year, I think, a couple days ago and did get the date right. But the PGA show is an end of January tradition. It's back, but it was back in limited form. And first off, I want to get your impressions, man, because all of the big companies, Ping, Callaway, all of them weren't there.
You are right. And it was peaceful. I can tell you a couple things. Here's a good way to look at this. We didn't have long lines to wait in at dinner. The houses we stayed in were cheaper and readily available. Mm-hmm. The rental car line at the airport was smaller. And I could still hear while I was on the show floor. So it felt very much like a regional show, mm-hmm. as opposed to the big, gigantic circus that it normally is.
Right.
And in the absence of all those big companies, a lot of the smaller companies that still were there, boy, they sold a lot of stuff.
Did they?
They sold a lot of stuff. I saw people taking orders and writing stuff left and right. It was crazy. There was a lot of business being transacted there.
Well,
it wasn't sleepy town as people would want to purport it to be. It wasn't. Yeah. It just wasn't the booming, loud extravaganza that it normally is.
Yeah, a lot of times the guys from those big companies are like the watch salesman in Times Square. It's kind of like, psst, psst, hey, buddy, hey, yeah, have you seen this? Come here.
But you know what? There's some pretty cool stuff there.
Okay. What was the big thing that you saw? The thing that gave you the, oh, wow, I need one of those.
Well, I bought it.
Oh, well, there you go.
So I normally don't promote an awful lot of product, and I'm going to wait until I test this product before I say anything about it.
Well, that's fair.
But I bought it on its promise. So this is something that homeowners can actually afford. And this is something that I need if it's correct.
Okay.
If it is incorrect, I sell it off and I tell people it's not correct.
Okay.
Okay. So let's get into the realm of launch monitors.
Okay.
Normally, I use a $20,000 launch monitor that says it's correct because it is the gold standard and they are correct.
Right.
Okay.
For 20 grand, it
For
better
20
be.
grand, right? It better be, right? So there's a couple of them out there right now. Before I went to the show, there was a couple of them out there in the $2,000 range that they're homeowner grade stuff and that I knew them to be inaccurate.
Okay.
One of them has stepped forward and fessed up to their inaccuracies and said, we now have it. Here's what we were. And we knew we didn't get the spin right. So that means your distance was off, your curvature was off, and how high your ball traveled was off.
Other than that, it was perfect.
That's right. But it works outside. It's a radar unit, and radar units don't work worth spit indoors because nobody has enough ball flight for the radar unit to pick up on the distance that the ball carries and the spin, right?
Okay. Uh-huh.
Not because radar is a bad thing. That's not true at all. It's just that they don't have enough flight to catch all that, right?
Can't get all the information.
Right, but the camera-based units like the Foresight, the GC Quad that I have, and the GC3 that I have don't require that because they're sitting out front and they're taking multiple pictures of the ball post-impact and at impact, right? So they don't need that. But the radar units need a lot of flight.
Okay. So is this a radar unit that we're talking about?
This one's a radar unit. And I owned it 2 years ago. I bought it based on its promise and said, we're good. And outside, you know what they were? They were good.
Okay.
So
Inside,
in and of itself, if I was a teacher only teaching outdoors,
right,
that radar unit that I bought would have sufficed.
Right.
Would have been correct enough for me, a golf instructor, to use as fact.
Okay.
But it was terrible as soon as I moved it indoors.
Okay.
So this year they've added something that helps it track things. So this radar unit costs the same amount of money as it did 2 years ago. And I bought it again because I sold my first one within a week because it didn't work worth spit indoors.
Okay.
And me having the indoor studio and that being a large portion of what I do, I have to have truth. I can't pay for lies.
Right.
Because that's when they're
your
inaccurate and they tell you stuff, that's a lie.
Your students wouldn't pay for lies.
No.
You'd have many fewer students after a while.
Right. So I bought this unit again.
Okay.
Based on its promise. We fixed our problems. We identified what they were and we fixed them. And here's this again. And oh, by the way, I'll give you a 30-day money back guarantee if you don't like it. Okay.
All right. Is this still a radar unit?
It's still a radar unit, right? But they added something to it that's supposed to make it correct. I don't care what they added. It doesn't matter. It matters that the numbers that I get off of this are true and they're comparable to my Foresight GC Quad. Mm-hmm. And if they are, I will tell you about it. So that's the big thing.
Okay.
But a couple of other things, of course, I'm helping in the world of training aids and whatnot, right?
Sure.
And there's a couple of things that could help everybody. So they're small things that are really cool.
Okay.
And they're pretty interesting because of how simple they are. I got one of them right here. This thing's called a Tour Aim, and it is a piece of plastic with holes drilled into it.
Uh-huh.
Right? And strategically placed. So they've got, and what you do is you set this thing up and you run some alignment sticks through it to stand up, and you can putt through this hole that you see here, or you can lay it down flat and put alignment sticks on the ground, and it'll hold your alignment sticks a certain width apart so you can practice, right? And then you can put some in at odd angles where the alignment sticks come off at odd angles so you can work on your swing plane. And that piece of plastic right there from Tour Aim is easily reproducible, so I thought, because I bought one.
Uh-huh.
And I decided, I know people, I'm going to do this.
I can make one of these.
I can make me one of those. Well, you know what? They've made them such a good deal at the PGA show that I'm like, well, why do I need to do that? The hassle that I would go through to make that isn't worth the money anymore. If it was a higher priced thing, I would make a bunch of them.
So you can use that to practice alignment for everything.
Yeah,
not just
alignment,
putting.
ball position, swing plane. You can putt through the little hole that's in there. You can set it up on end, and you can work on that and work on your putting. It's a fantastic piece of plastic.
It's called a Tour Aim.
Tour Aim. Yeah, it's great. And you know what? I don't normally just go out endorsing the products at all, but this one, I'll tell you, it's so simple and it works with everybody for anything that I'm going to have this in my teaching bag 100% of the time. Because it's small, it's lightweight, and I can use it for it's multi-purpose.
Yeah. So, if you're around, this is available on YouTube. If you want to see what he's talking about, just go to weekendgolfguys.tube. Okay.
Yeah.
weekendgolfguys.tube, and you can see this video. We do all the behind the scenes. There's no editing to our videos. We push the record button at start, and then we push it at end, and there's a bunch of stuff in the middle.
And we try to edit ourselves.
That the radio people never get to hear, but you go to weekendgolfguys.tube and you'll catch all the blemishes.
You get to hear John say all kinds of filth and foul.
There's even some 4-letter words that escape now and again, like golf. There is. I want to talk to you too because my brother-in-law and I are well, we're planning to do something that I probably shouldn't be doing, but I'm going to talk to you about it. And I think a lot of us are planning to do something like this. So hang out because you probably could benefit from hearing this conversation when we come right back. We are those weekend golf guys. Hang out with us here. All right, number 3, 12 minutes in 3, 2, 1. And we are back, those weekend golf guys. I'm John Ashton. He is Jeff Smith. He's back from the PGA show. I've just moved. I've mentioned a couple times. I've just moved into a new house. And one of the things that enthralled me with this house, or enamored me of this house, or made me say, I want this house, is there is a huge 2.5 car garage right next door to the family room with the built-in bar. Okay.
Bar, let me guess. Let's see. Bar next to a space big enough to hit golf balls?
Yeah. You know, and I was looking and saying, and there was a design flaw. I guess the deck was added as an afterthought because the stairs to the deck come down about 6 inches into the path of a car coming out of the second bay of the garage. And I don't think with the cars I have, there's enough space to navigate around that. So it looks like one of my cars is going to have to be parked outside, which leaves a huge area inside the garage that's basically doing nothing.
Well, that's terrible. Whatever will you do with it?
My brother-in-law and I, we were just talking, and he said, you know, this would be a great place. A golf simulator would actually fit here.
Shall I tell you about the ones that I saw at the PGA show?
The ones, if you go with 5-figure costs, no. But you mentioned earlier some homeowner grade.
Yeah. The one I was thinking about had a 3 and a 5 and some zeros in it.
Yeah. 3 zeros.
3 zeros, not 00035, right?
Before the decimal point, it had 3 zeros. Yeah,
it did. It had, and then.
But you mentioned that, and you mentioned prior to this being at the show too, that they are making inroads in the equipment that are making consumer grade golf simulators kind of accurate.
They're getting there. So the ones that are out there in that $2,000 range, not quite there yet.
Okay.
Not quite there yet. But let me tell you, if this thing that I talked about just a little bit ago is that, I'm going to have to talk to you about what you can do with it.
Okay.
Today's testing day.
Okay.
I brought it home with me from the show, and they said, wait till Tuesday. We have a firmware upgrade coming on Tuesday.
Oh, so it'll work more better today than it would have yesterday.
That's right. So I said, okay, fine. I'll charge it up. I'll wait patiently. Today, before the show, I downloaded that firmware upgrade.
Uh-oh.
Now, all of a sudden, we got some activity. I'm going to be using it, going to test it.
All right. Let me ask you, though, and I know that you're a purist and you're a coach and you're an instructor and you love accuracy and you hate lies. But how detrimental to my game would it be
to be lied to?
To be off a little bit.
Well, it depends on how big the lie is, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's say it's off by 3-4%.
Okay.
Okay. How good can you get? How do you know which way it's off 3-4%?
Well, that's true.
Your ball normally curves one way, and then all of a sudden it curves the other way.
It could show me hitting the ball straight, whereas it's actually 4% curve to the left.
That's what I'm getting at.
Yeah. Okay.
Is what's your tolerance for error? Mine is 0.
Uh-huh.
But keep in mind that I have that opinion purely because I want to get better. And my job is to get other people better, and I can't do that if I don't have facts. Right. So, but let's just talk about the normal person who's not me and not the persnickety guy that I am.
Exactly.
If that thing's within 3 or 4%, I'm using it.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah, because
the trouble is, how do you know?
That was going to be my next question.
Great minds think alike, right?
Uh-huh.
So what you do is you get your thing and you go find out. You go test it up against something that's really good, and you go spend money to go find out somebody who's got one of the big expensive ones that tells you stuff, and you put yours right next to it and you say, can I compare? Can I pay you for an hour of your time to compare the validity of my machinery that I'm going to try to use for my fun and / get a little bit better at golf up against yours? And they'll gladly do it. They'll take the fee, let you use it to test, and walk away with your own conclusions about what you've purchased.
Yep. Well, let me translate what Jeff just said is, John, don't buy one of these and then come up here and ask him to test it out for free. Right?
I didn't really say it that way. But what I'm saying is that somebody has spent a lot of money on machinery that are factual, and they have a business. So honor their business instead of trying to just go act like you can use their stuff that they paid their hard-earned money for free.
Sure.
But look at it like, okay, it's worth my time. I bought a $2,000 thing, and I want to compare it against that $20,000 thing. But at least I offer the guy $100 to go see if it's right. Because why would I invade on his territory and his time? Why would he bother to let me come in and use it just to find that out and give up time that he could be using his machinery and his time to make money?
That's right. Can you hear the dog going bananas in the background?
No, huh? Really can't hear it.
Because he is, and I'm going to have to go slap him around a little bit.
No, don't slap the dog. Just feed him poison. I mean, I shouldn't do that either.
It's funny. He's getting used to the fact that he now lives in a neighborhood with other people.
Oh,
we were in a very quiet cul-de-sac before we moved, and now people like walk up and down the street, the sidewalk in front of the house.
And now he decides to announce the fact that he's there watching them.
That's right. That's right. He's going crazy.
Yeah.
So you have yet tested this. It's a $2,000 product that we're looking at. So if it worked, then my brother-in-law and I could go in halvesies on a $2,000. Now that doesn't include any of the accoutrements, does it? No screen, no. It's just the thing. No nothing.
It's just the thing.
Okay. Right? So what would realistically speaking, kind of an investment would one be looking at to get a consumer grade, decent golf simulator at home?
Well, let's think of a couple things. If I was going to start on the budget, which I think everybody ought to, I would go get a net.
Okay.
And hit into the net.
Oh, I thought
Right?
you were talking about a net. Because I knew Annette.
Annette, she was one of the Musketeers a long time ago, John. I know you still got that stuck into your head, right?
Cello.
Annette Funicello, right? I'm not sure she's still alive, but if she is, she's probably still got the same bouffant hairdo.
Yeah.
Right? But no, I would go get a net and a good mat. There's some real serious value to hitting off of a surface that won't harm you. Because if you're going to put this thing inside the house, you're going to use it a bunch. You're going to bang balls off it. So it better be soft.
Right.
Right. You get one that's too hard. Next thing you know, you're jarring your wrists. Right. Not a good thing.
A few years ago at the PGA show, and I don't know what happened to it. There was a guy who I thought had probably one of the best ideas the world had ever seen. But he had a hitting mat mounted on magnets, and there were the reverse polarity magnets. So basically, the top mat you hit off of was floating.
Yeah, it was awesome.
What happened to that? And I guess you could probably make one on your own, couldn't you?
You probably could if you knew what the heck you were doing.
Yes.
But it was awesome. I tested it and I was like, this is unbelievable.
Yeah,
right?
It was fantastic.
Right. It would give and you wouldn't hurt yourself. And it was incredible. And I don't know what the heck they called the thing, so I don't even know how to Google it anymore.
All I remember is it was invented by some guy who lived in Holland. Excuse me, the Netherlands.
The Netherlands, yeah. So what is it? Magmat? Magnamat?
I have no idea, but I mean that was the idea that the hitting surface gives.
Yeah.
Because the ground gives when you hit it, so that replicated the feel 100%.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Yeah. So get yourself a good mat and a net. And then all these things, all these monitors, they all work off an iPad.
Okay.
All right. So let's say you have zero and you got like a $5,000 budget. So total.
Right.
You go get yourself $1,000 to $1,500 iPad. You get one of these $2,000 machines or $2,500 machines because of inflation. And next thing you know, you're at $4,000, and then you spend $500 on a mat, and you got plenty of money left over for a net, and then you just hook it up to a TV with an HDMI cord, and you put the TV on the wall. So you could get by with it pretty darn cheap.
Yeah.
And you get a new iPad out of it.
You get a new iPad, and you get, most of all, you get a practice facility that you don't have to pay for on an hourly basis.
You said practice facility like it was nothing.
I know.
Like, wow, I got a practice facility in my own backyard now. It's in my garage, and I use it never, because you don't. Right?
That's true.
But could you imagine if you put that in and you still didn't practice? The grief that you would get from me on this show on a weekly basis.
Or from, you spend how much? You use it how little? We got more. We'll be right back. We are This Weekend Golf, guys. All right, 14 minutes, number 4 in 3, 2, 1. It is us, This Weekend Golf, guys. I'm John Ashton. I'm in the studio. He is Jeff Smith. He is, you're still at the Timbergate Golf Course in Edinburgh, Indiana. One of Golf Magazine's top 100 teachers and a great coach, nice guy. And we're talking about putting together something to practice in your own home.
You know what? There's so many things that I saw. So I've got this thing that's about to happen, right? Okay. We did this a couple shows ago, 2 weeks ago. Mm-hmm. I'm going to be producing this series of things that you can use that are household items
Right.
that can help you play better golf.
Right.
That's going to be coming out on golf.com starting in February.
Oh,
so
cool.
It's a monthly feature, right?
Uh-huh.
So the whole goal here is to get you to play better golf, but the whole goal isn't to have you spend a bunch of money to go do it, right?
Exactly.
Go spend your money on golf lessons, and then find out how you can incorporate the things that you already have that can help
save you money for lessons and equipment.
Yeah.
I mean, clubs, basically.
Well, it's not just clubs, but sometimes it's things that can help you get better. Sometimes you already have them in your house. Sometimes you can make them.
True.
Sometimes you could fudge something together to make yourself get better.
Yeah, jury rig something.
Yeah. We used to putt on the kitchen floor, the tile floor, right? And we just putt in the grout lines.
Yeah.
And the goal, of course, is to see how we can keep it in the grout line, and that tells us about stroke and face.
Right. Well, and the speed of your tile floor in the kitchen is probably about a 15.
Right. So it taught you some soft touch.
Yeah.
But, the reality of that is it really worked because it was just there and you had a built-in goal. It would come out of those grout lines pretty quickly if your face was off.
Mm-hmm.
So it taught you how to do that. It taught you how to used to line them up on the squares.
Right.
And you line the face up so you could know what straight looked like.
Yeah.
And you could deliver it right back there. And there was proof. It was right there in front of your face, and we spent $0.00. But boy, let me tell you, when we do that indoors and there's other people in the house, they are not happy with you for making all that racket.
There's a golf ball on wood or tile floors is not quiet.
No. However, it's effective.
Yeah.
So timing is everything, right?
Right.
Do it yourself, right? So we used to do all kinds of things, right? I've talked on this show many times about wintertime indoor golf. Yeah. Ping-pong balls, folks. Yep. You already got them. They cost you nothing. And if you don't have them, go to that cheap old big box store and go pick up a dozen of those things. They cost you nothing. And
it's like $1.98 for 12.
They won't break stuff.
Yeah.
You might break that ball, but not, you're not going to hit them that hard. But truth is,
yeah, you have.
They're not knocking over the lamp.
Yep.
They're not breaking the window panes. They're not breaking that television screen.
They don't even leave dents when they hit the wall.
Nope, they don't. And they're not knocking that picture of your mother-in-law off the wall. You have to use a little firmer ball for that one. Just saying. Right? So ping pong balls, folks, that's another one of those indoor things that you could use, stuff you got at home that can make you better.
Right.
So here's the thing. I was at the show and I saw some cool gizmos that people could buy. I'm going to rattle off a couple of them.
Okay.
Because not that I'm just endorsing the product, because I'm not trying to do that for a commercial sake. What I am trying to do is tell you, hey, look, these things aren't all that expensive and they really help you get better.
Okay.
And one of them is a pressure plate. And a pressure plate, it's like a flat topped, curved bottomed piece of hard plastic that you stand on. And it's like a rocker panel.
Okay.
So you got a little curve on the bottom. So when you swing back, you push down on the back foot, and then to swing forward, you step on the front foot, and it rocks, and it helps you change your pressure.
Okay.
So people used to call it just weight shift. It's really about pressure. It's about stepping, stomping, putting pressure on the leg, right?
I would imagine that would also help you with timing, wouldn't it?
It does. It helps you with force. It helps you with timing. It helps you with all kinds of stuff. So,
Mm-hmm. This is better than a metronome.
Something like that. I mean, it's available. Heck, the thing was selling for $100, $104 or something.
Uh-huh.
It's cheap. And then they had this thing, an alignment disc. So it's this big donut-looking thing. James Hong is on the show. He'll be happy about this. Right? It's a big, gigantic, heavy donut. It's kind of like a stone, but it looks like a donut.
Okay.
And it's got a bunch of holes drilled in a bunch of different angles where you stuff alignment rod in.
Okay.
People go, oh, I can make that out of a block of wood. Yes, folks, you can. You really, literally can. So here's a heavy object They did it with a thing that felt like a stone and looks like a donut.
Okay.
And they just drilled a bunch of 5/16 holes or slightly larger in the thing at a bunch of different angles. And then you could set that thing on the ground and it'll hold your alignment rods for you. Now, just imagine that that's something as cheap as a 4x4, right?
Right.
You go, well, I got a block of wood. I'll just use that. Yes, do it. Okay. But these products are out there and people make money on this stuff because it's just a way to hold your alignment rod in the right spot. You can pick it up, kick it around, move it around, do whatever you want, and boom, you got your alignment rod where you want it. What a great idea. A novel concept.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there are so many of us who are so hungry for easy, affordable ways to get better
Yes.
that we will try anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A block of wood, you could call it the Board of Education if you wanted to. Right?
You better patent that very quickly.
I should, right? Do you trademark something like that or you patent it if you say
I have no idea.
Yeah? Well, somebody's got to help me out with that.
Just copyright it.
Yeah, that's what it is. Copyright, I guess. I don't know. But anyway, I mean, think about it. Here I am talking about this piece of plastic, about a bunch of holes drilled in it at different angles, and they cut a hole in it. Could you imagine if this was a big, thick block? And you could have the things that a bunch of sticking out at a bunch of different angles.
Yeah.
Of course you can.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you? So it's pretty cool. You could do that.
The ideas that are floating in the head of the people who come up with these ideas, and then the idea that, I mean, it's close to $30,000 for a booth at the PGA show.
That's a lot of money, man.
How many of those do they have to sell just to recoup that investment?
I don't have any idea.
It's ridiculous, man. I mean, these guys are stepping out. They're jumping into the fray with both feet.
Dude,
basically a wing and a prayer, man.
I know.
Heavy on the prayer.
Could you imagine showing up as a new product and you got one stinking product? Just one.
Yeah.
And you go, wow, I got this great idea for a golf product. It's got to be affordable enough for a golfer to have. So the thing, we're going to sell it for $50.
Yeah.
Right? We make it for 12. We sell it for 50. It sounds like great profit. Let's go to the PGA show and sell a bunch of those. How many of those $55 things do they have that's got to cover that $30,000 booth fee? Quick math says you're out of business. That's what quick math says.
Yeah, it does.
You'd be way better off to spend $5,000 on some golf teacher's list. You could get on Facebook and find out and stalk all your golf pro friends or find all these teachers and start marketing it to them in that way, and you'd sell more and have more profit than if you went to the PGA show and paid Reed Exhibitions a ton of money to go set up your shop.
Or you could always find a nice
at a
golf
show
radio show.
It's just crazy how that is.
It's good for us, however, that people keep doing it.
Well, sure.
Because every year there is at least one thing that some of us will use as our holy grail. It'll be the one thing that makes our game come together. And you never know what it is or when it will happen or whatever.
Right.
That's right. Like, you say we keep grasping at straws, more or less, looking for the one thing that's going to get it. I mean, I still have people who are like, I was talking to a guy, said, I want to go fit it. I said, you're going to finally buy a club that fits you? He says, no, I just want to know what kind of club I should get because I want to get one of those crank clubs.
One of those crank drivers, those 3-degree things that long drivers hit?
Yeah. It's just like, your swing speed's about 27 miles an hour, man. I don't think that driver's going to help you much.
No, but I'm cranking the loft down.
So, there's just so many things that I guess people don't understand about what they need to know, what they need to do to get better at this game. And why is it that the first thing that the majority of us don't think about is finding a teacher who knows his stuff and gonna go book a couple of lessons?
Because they think he's too expensive. For people who go, oh, I can get that by 3 clicks on the internet. And that's free.
Yeah.
This guy's got a reputation. And that guy's information to me is free.
Yeah, and worth every penny.
You know what? People have asked me a long time ago, why do I not have anything out there on the tube?
Right.
I find no point in giving away really good information on the internet that can truly help people. I find no reason to give that away because I spent a long time paying for my education and helping people. Could you imagine if all the local people around me would then just stop coming and paying my fee because I was dumb enough to take the very same information and give it away to whoever wanted to click?
Yeah.
It just seems dumb.
And you'll also find a lot of times that when you're following somebody online, the 1 or 2 necessary elements to finish the lesson are missing and will only be offered if you want to sign up.
Get behind the paywall.
Premium membership. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
They hit you with those little salesman technique videos.
Yeah.
I'm going to get you there. Don't worry. Sign up, and then we'll show you exactly the secret.
Yeah.
Oh, come on.
Yeah. Watch this 62-year-old man hit a drive 387 yards. All right. For $29.95 a month, I'll show you how you can do that too. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And there's, P.T. Barnum was right.
Yeah, exactly. So what we're saying, people, is basically, yeah, there are training aids, but there aren't miracles. You may need some training aids. You may need some things to help with a little problem. My major problem with putting is alignment, and I would do what I need to do to learn how to recognize proper alignment. There are things I can buy to do that. There are techniques. There's things at my house already that I can use to do that.
Right. Let's just think about it. Alignment has so much to do with your vision. And John, you continue to play with that same fake nose, mustache, and glasses combination that all of a sudden, you can't see well out of that.
Yeah, I'm giving that up this year, man. Hey, we've got a little bit more. We'll be right back. Hang out. We are those weekend golf guys. All right, now number 5, 3 minutes in 3, 2, 1. It is us, those weekend golf guys. I'm Sean Ashton. He is Jeff Smith. Been another great hour. Hopefully you have taken some of this information to heart. Yes, it is possible to put a decent golf simulator in your own home for less than 25, 30 grand, which is what they
it really is. I did see a cool one there for 35 grand though. Oh, it was smooth.
Well, for 35 grand, it better be cool.
It was really cool. I got to tell you, it was. The whole thing pitched and tilted forward and back and side to side, and you could see the whole, and you could putt on it, and it was just like, ooh.
That's the biggest thing, man. If they ever, I have always said, if they ever develop one that you can putt accurately on, then indoor golf becomes a whole new game.
Oh, it's a whole new business right there. Right? People like the putting.
All right.
Yeah.
I have to explore that further.
It was pretty good. 35 G's, brother. 35. You could do that.
Oh, yeah. Sure.
You just tell the wife, hey, look, it's for the show.
That's right.
We're going to do this from the show. And she'll like, well, doesn't Jeff have one of those? And you're like, well, okay, I'll practice on it too. She'll laugh. She'll laugh hysterically at that moment. she might fall down. You might have to do some CPR after that. Right?
Yeah, I know. What can I say? But this is the time. This is the time to do what you need to do. You just don't stand there and stare at the clubs longingly. Don't drive by the golf course and stare at it longingly. Do some stuff indoors with ping pong balls or with a net or whatever, and just keep your stuff up. Or find a guy like Jeff with an indoor studio and go take a lesson or 12.
Make sure they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Check their reputation.
Yeah.
If their reputation's good, if they're really making players better, then go and pay the extra fee. If they're not making players better, if they just got stuff, that doesn't make them a good helper.
No.
I did see one thing before we go. So everybody's always looking for spiffier clubs, right? They're always looking to, get something new looking in the bag and all that stuff. I found at the show some polish for your clubs. Boy, let me tell you, they sat there and took some old beat up, nasty looking clubs. And yeah, the polish doesn't do anything for the dings, but boy, let me tell you, they sat there and rubbed on this stuff. They took some stuff and bam, it looked like a brand new set of clubs. And you're like, what the heck?
And think of how much better you'd play with that, huh? The next time you're out.
I got some brand new shiny clubs, boys.
Polish the clubs and then go play some golf. Cool beans, man.